At the beginning of the 18th century, New France is facing hard times. In France, the market is flooded with beaver. The merchants of New France are going bankrupt. The western trading posts are closed. The furs rot in the warehouses. Even worse are the epidemics of disease that strike the colony. Influenza, smallpox. In some years, sickness carries off almost 10% of the population. These are hard years for the Indian nations, too. All the tribes are weak, decimated by European disease and decades of warfare. The time is right for a radical change of course. In the summer of 1701, more than 1,000 Indians gather near Montreal. They come from the Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes, and Acadia. The Iroquois are here too. Many are lifelong enemies, but all have responded to an invitation from the French governor. Among them is the great Huron chief Kondiaronk of Michilimackinac, the most influential of France's allies. He knows Montreal is ravaged by disease, but comes anyway.
We have found many of our brothers dead along the riverbanks. We heard rumors that there was much sickness at Montreal. All of these bodies, half eaten by birds that we saw at every turn, were convincing proof. Yet we made ourselves a bridge of these bodies and walked over it with great determination.
The goal is to negotiate a comprehensive peace among themselves and with the French. For Governor Hector de Calière, it's the culmination of 20 years of diplomacy. But overcoming the years of death and distrust is not easy. The negotiations drag on for days. One sticking point is the return of prisoners who were captured during previous campaigns and enslaved or adopted. Governor de Calière tries to mediate, but Kondiaronk is skeptical.
You wanted us to bring all of the Iroquois slaves that we hold. We have obeyed. Now let us see if the Iroquois have obeyed your command. Let us see how many of our nephews they have brought. If they have done so, it is proof of their sincerity. If they have not done so, they are deceitful. I know very well that they have brought none.
But Kondiaronk also believes the bloodshed must end, one way or another. Although he has become seriously ill, he speaks for 2 hours. He calls for a peace treaty that will be guaranteed by the French. Kondiaronk's support is decisive, but this will be his final act. That night, Kondiaronk dies, struck down by influenza. He is given a magnificent funeral, as impressive as Frontenac's, who had died 3 years earlier. The French commissioner of the Marine, Bacqueville de la Poterie, pays him homage.
Had he been born a Frenchman, he would have had the character to govern the most delicate matters of a flourishing state. He had the sensibilities of a noble soul and was a savage in name only.
The next day, 38 nations sign a treaty. the Great Peace of 1701. It is a milestone in the colony's history. The Indians and the French are now all at peace, and the Iroquois promise to remain neutral in any future conflict with New England. The stage is set for New France's greatest years.